anyone who's disadvantaged and doesn't really have access to good financial advice and financial planning, making better wealth decisions is often predicated on having access to people who can help you make those decisions. What do you do if you're part of an organization or if you're part of maybe a minority group that doesn't have the wherewithal to get good financial advice in order to make better wealth decisions? Today, we're speaking with a professional who has started an organization, a foundation, which is helping hard to reach communities make better wealth decisions. Stick around. This is Make Better Wealth Decisions, a podcast about financial blind spots, decision-making, and how the reality of higher rates, global tensions, and tariff instability impact your investments. I'm your host, John DeGuy, a portfolio manager with Design Securities in Toronto. My guest this week is Carolyn Fallis. Carolyn has spent 25 years devoted to financial planning in various roles, working mostly in certification and academia. She's a passionate advocate for financial planning in general and the benefits that it provides. And I'm speaking here today specifically in her capacity as the chair of the CFFP, which is the Canadian Foundation for Financial Planning, which we all hope will change the lives of Canadians for the better. Carolyn, how are you today?
I'm great, John. How are you?
Also great. Pleasure to have you on. For the people listening, I've been trying to get Carolyn on this podcast for a long time, so I'm glad she finally agreed to take some time out of her busy schedule to speak with us. A lot of people listening will not know much about the Canadian Foundation for Financial Planning, so let's see if we can begin by having you give us an overview of what the organization does, what its mandate is, and what it is we're all hoping to accomplish.
Absolutely. And first of all, thank you for the opportunity of having me share this message to your listeners here today. The Canadian Foundation for Financial Planning is a registered charity, independent registered charity that is dedicated to improving the lives of Canadians. We will be giving access to financial planning that the groups who may otherwise face barriers to access. Our mission is to equip Canadians with the financial knowledge and confidence that they need to build their own financial resilience. We are just in our infancy stage. We are just launching our programs right now, but it's a very, very exciting time for us at the Canadian Foundation for Financial Planning.
So there are different types of financial planners and different types of financial professionals, as people will know. What's the benefit specifically for a Canadian that might be disadvantaged or in a minority group working with a financial planner, specifically through the CFFP, where they might not have access to a financial planner otherwise?
The benefit for sure is that the Canadian Foundation for Financial Planning, yes, it's a little bit of a hard mouthful, I might admit, is really focused on serving the underserved communities. And we are going to be working with community partners far and wide, and we will partner with them, and they are going to bring us the individuals who need financial planning most. One of the great benefits of the CFFP, I think I'll use that acronym here on in, is we are so pleased that we can leverage the financial planning communities of our founding members, which is the FP Canada and IPF in Quebec. And by leveraging our community, who seems very excited to serve the underserved, we will try to make a difference in the lives of Canadians.
So we're really talking about pro bono services where you have a qualified CFP, a certified financial planner, who might otherwise be offering his or her services to the general public as a matter of business and, making money as a commercial enterprise, taking time out of their day to give back to the community and to Canadian society by helping those people who otherwise might not get access to qualified financial planning advice. And I'm wondering, so right now you're working with minority groups. Is the mandate going to expand? Will it maybe include other groups like seniors or whatever in the future? Maybe if you could take a moment to map out where you think CFFP will be going in the next little while.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. First of all, our vision that we want to bring to life is that everyone has the knowledge and confidence to build their own financial resilience. We know that everyone has their own unique set of circumstances. So it is not that, the CFFP will take you far and beyond your set of circumstances, but empower Canadians to work with what they have. As you mentioned, we are just launching our programs now. In our first set of programs, Really we're dealing with newcomers to Canada. And we have offered free financial planning seminars in their native tongue, which has been very well received and really made them comfortable as they are, in Canada, a new environment, and made them feel at home. However, we do plan to go further. We will have not only financial planning seminars and education for our community partners, but also pro bono program that will eventually roll out. And sometimes it is that small group or one-on-one participation that really can empower a Canadian to make good financial choices. This will not result in a lifelong planner-client engagement, but really give targeted financial planning for individuals at the time when they need it most. Beyond that, we will also include online tools and resources as time goes on, so we can reach as many people as possible. One of the big advantages of CFFP is that we are a national organization, and we will be leveraging volunteers. We will be leveraging board members and community partners from across Canada so that we can really make an impact across our nation.
So when you think about bringing the vision to life, and just full disclosure, I have a little bit of background as well with this organization and a big proponent of everything it hopes to accomplish. There are really three elements of what we have to do. We have to find the professional volunteers to volunteer their time. We have to find partnerships with community organizations, and we need to find some money, get donations for making all this work, because nothing is free. And I know a lot of things are done remotely. So when you think about getting the Canadian Foundation for Financial Planning off the ground, I'm wondering, and this is part of why, just again, full disclosure for the people listening, this is part of why Carolyn and I have waited a while to do this podcast, because we wanted to get the CFFP off the ground before we could talk about it in a more concrete way. And now we've got some things to share. So I'm wondering if you could take a moment, Carolyn, to maybe talk about the challenges that the organization has faced and has already overcome in getting everything up and running.
As I said, some of our main attributes have in some ways caused us challenges, or should I say opportunities. There is so much need for these services. John, you see it on the news every single day, and it doesn't matter who you are. These are difficult times financially for everyone. And especially some of those people who may be, as you mentioned, as our scope expands, it could be going to seniors, it could be going to communities with disabilities, or other disadvantaged groups, perhaps cultural groups. It's a difficult time. So there is just so much demand for our services. And that as much has been a challenge is how do we launch this in a way that allows us, for scale. As you mentioned, we are just starting out. We are so pleased that we have had a founding member in RBC Foundation and a founding funder in TD Foundation. We are growing and we are starting to make some impact. To date, we've been able to serve newcomers in Canada with workshops in Farsi, Dari, and Arabic. We've had lots of interest from the Ukrainian community. So we're looking to meet this demand. But yet again, we have to ensure that we roll this out in a responsible and scalable way in order to meet these challenges.
Let's talk about being scalable. Right now, we're talking about financial planning for disadvantaged groups and minority groups and hard to reach groups. It would seem to me that down the road, there will be an opportunity to perhaps engage in something a little more broad-based, maybe a little more macro rather than micro. What I'm thinking about here is financial literacy. Is there an opportunity, do you think, down the road maybe, for the Canadian Foundation for Financial Planning to engage in a more meaningful outreach that involves literacy for Canadians in general to help them understand the basic tenets of what it means to be financially resilient?
Absolutely. And you know what, John, we've also already made connections with groups who are also working with financial literacy programs out there already today and doing a fantastic job. We don't want to duplicate any efforts. Our whole idea is to expand reach and to go a little bit further into the world of financial planning if there is a need. There's so much research out there to indicate that if you work with a planner, you can leverage the literacy that you have and then have so much more confidence to make your own financial decisions. So ultimately, that would be our vision, that everyone has that confidence to make the best financial decisions for themselves, which is really appropriate because I think that's the name of your podcast here today.
Podcast. So let's talk about that then. So helping people who are perhaps otherwise disadvantaged, DEI people, are there specific recommendations that you can give now or things that you can use as examples in helping those sorts of minority groups, disadvantaged groups, make better wealth decisions?
Absolutely. We want to empower them. Many of these groups face barriers to financial planning. Some of them don't have the confidence to access financial planning. So, what we would like to do is increase the capacity, not only the financial literacy within their communities and their network, but then leverage that. So, perhaps that they are working with people that they trust the most. There's all sorts of subtleties here, but I think with such a strong mandate, we can really make a difference for these groups.
You shared some statistics with me before the podcast began, and I just wanted to read them into the record here because I think the research that FP Canada did with regard to financial resilience in 2023 is striking. More than 70% of Canadians working with a planner rate their financial well-being as anywhere from good to excellent. And more than 80% of financially resilient households will say that a financial plan has helped them toward financial wellness. So to your point, Carolyn, there's very little doubt this is backed by empirical research, which is current and robust and resilient, showing that the impact on people's lives is material. This is not just someone saying something nice. It's demonstrable. And I think that's a real benefit because a lot of charitable organizations talk a good game, but then you wonder about, well, where does the rubber really hit the road? But I think with FP Canada and the foundation, there's a lot that can be shown where there's no question that we're doing a lot of good. So let's talk, if we can, about, and we touched on this earlier, but I want to come back on it. There are different kinds of financial professionals. And I want to know what the specific benefits are of working with a qualified financial planner in particular.
Well, financial planning advice is very personal. And of course, since we have communities through IPF and FP Canada of qualified professionals, we really felt it's important to reach out and leverage our community group. I am absolutely overwhelmed in our very preliminary call for volunteers, how many people put up their hand to volunteer. They know that this is important. They believe in their profession. And I think it's a proud moment. It's a proud moment for these professionals to say, I really want to give back. I want to help. Because there could be access barriers facing these individuals for various reasons. And, it's very heartwarming. And, it will make a better Canada if we could build the financial resilience of all our communities.
And I wholeheartedly agree. So lots of people are reaching out, as you say. A lot of qualified CFP professionals are putting up their hands saying, I want to help. I want to be part of the solution. I'm wondering if you can tell me about how you hope to be able to reach more people going forward to even further expand the mandate of the CFFP.
Well, as I mentioned, it's still early days. We've just started to roll out our programs. However, we are growing quickly, and I can see the momentum building every day. There's always a good news story every week that I hear from the Canadian Foundation for Financial Planning. We certainly had outreach with our seminars. We are starting to develop and really work on what may be going forward with our pro bono. There are still so much demand, and we have to grow in a scalable and responsible manner. But we know that as the CFFP becomes more known, as it builds awareness, as volunteers are so proud of the work that they've done, I am confident that we will grow even further. And we hope to be receiving and helping over 1,000 to 2,000 participants annually. We can't do it alone, but we hope that with the help of our communities, with the awareness that is going to be building, and with the difference that we start to make in these communities, that we will inspire others to also give back and help those who need it most.
So I want to end with this. I want to ask you as Carolyn, not necessarily as the chair of the CFFP, although you can do that if you want. You've got a great deal of background. You've got a lot of time as a thought leader, as an academic, and as a huge volunteer in the financial planning community. If it was up to you and you could give any kind of advice to the people listening at home, what advice would you give to help them make better wealth decisions?
Well, in general, John, you know, I am passionate about the profession of financial planning, the benefits that it could bring to you as a person and as an individual. And I think that everyone can make better wealth decisions by becoming knowledgeable, but sometimes you need someone to help you make that next step. And so working with a financial professional when needed or on an ongoing basis absolutely will bring peace to your being and perhaps to your life. Those statistics that FP Canada gave are really telling. Having said that, I want that for everybody. It's not just accessible. You know, our industry is evolving, but the industry was here first. So we want to make sure we can reach out to serve those who historically have been underserved. And if we can make them more resilient, what a better place Canada would be.
It's a lovely way to end. Carolyn, I want to thank you for your time today, and I want to wish you all the best of success with the CFFP. It's a wonderful organization with a great mandate, and we're just getting started, and I'm so looking forward to all that the Canadian Foundation for Financial Planning can accomplish in the years to come.
Thank you, John. I love that making better wealth decisions. That's what this is all about. That's really what the foundation is all about. So thank you for giving me this time here today to let everyone know about CFFP.
This podcast is not to be construed as offering specific investment advice. Please consult a qualified advisor before acting. My books, Stand Up to the Financial Services Industry and Bullshift, are available online. If you'd like to meet to discuss how the topics in this podcast affect you directly, please visit my website.